So the next module we're going to be talking about is symbolism. So symbolism is very important in literature because it's everywhere. You can see symbolism in poetry and every type of literature, and yeah, it's very important. So symbolism is basically using one object or something to represent something else. So this can be an object, a word, action, anything. But for example, the flag of America is a symbol for our freedom. So it's using an object, which is the flag, like the actual flag, and it's representing our freedom, and it's representing the people that fought to keep our freedom. So as you can see, that's a very great example because as I said earlier, the object is representing our freedom. So for this module, we're going to be talking about a story called Metamorphosis, and this story is about a man named Gregor Samsa. He wakes up one morning and finds that he has been turned into a horrible, ugly bug. So when he wakes up, he's very surprised, and the first thing he tries to do is first of all, he tries to go to sleep and try to maybe because he thought it was just a bad dream, but it really wasn't, obviously. And yeah, so the next thing he tries to do is trying to pull himself together so he's able to go to work because he is the provider of the family. He's working to pay off his parents' debt, so they kind of just pass it to him. And so he's the only one that works in the family. His father does not work. His father rarely leaves the apartment, and his mother and his sister do not work either. So yeah, so when his family sees him, they're very disgusted by him because he's a bug. As mentioned in one of the other modules, he's a bug. Nobody likes bugs. Nobody wants to be around bugs. You don't see a bug and you don't want to you don't instantly want to go pick it up and play with it or be nice to it. So, and let alone a ginormous bug. He was a ginormous bug. But eventually he gets more comfortable in his body. He starts climbing walls. His family opens up a door so he can see them once in a while. But eventually, unfortunately, that flips, and his sister Gret is telling their parents, that they need to get rid of Gregor because Gregor's going to be the end of them if they don't get rid of him. So his family agrees, and they are just all right, how do we get rid of this vermin? So Gregor hears this, and he just oof, dang. So he just dies. He just decides to die peacefully in his sleep, and that way to relieve his family of the burden. And yeah, so some symbols in this text can be the woman, as I didn't mention earlier, but we all read this story, but there's a picture of a woman hung up in a nice gold frame, and this represents his humanity because he hung this up before he turned into a vermin, bug. But once his sister Gret and his mother, they start taking furniture out of his room, and he clings on to this one piece, and he's like, you're not taking this, because it's another human and represents his humanity. So he really wants to cling on to it and not let it go. But yeah. And so another one is the bug. So this is also represents his how he feels about himself, his self-disgust, but also symbolizes how his work dehumanizes people. As a salesman, he has to work a lot. He pays off his parents' debt, as I said earlier, and he never misses work, and he's always constantly just working and working and working, and that takes a toll on a person, and it did definitely take a toll on Gregor Samsa. So one more symbol in this, there's a lot more, but just as an example, one more symbol is Mr. Samsa's uniform. So this actually symbolizes the self-respect he kind of gets when he puts it on. So once Gregor can't work for his family again, he's a bug. He can't work for his family anymore. So the father is like, all right, I have to work. So as mentioned earlier, he rarely left the house. He never cleaned up. He was just there. And now that he got this nice uniform with some nice gold buttons, like he's now like presentable. He's becoming the provider of the family. So this represents like him becoming that. So yeah, those are just some examples of symbolism in this story. So yeah.